There are 283 new cases of COVID-19 in Saskatchewan. 5 more people have died, including one in the Northwest Zone in the 80-plus category. There are 15 new cases of COVID in the Northwest, with 7 in the immediate Lloydminster area, where we have 124 active cases. Our Northwest Zone has 202 active cases, the third highest number in the province, behind only Regina and Saskatoon. 161 people are in hospital, with 5 in the Northwest. 346 cases in our zone to date are variants of concern. More than 545,000 doses have been administered province-wide, with over 37,000 in the Northwest. The city is asking for patience from motorists as construction starts next week on one of Lloydminster's busiest roadways. Jace Mackey has more on the Highway 16 rehabilitation project.
This stretch of 44th Street between 59th and 75th Avenue will look different next week as construction starts on Monday and is expected to last 6 months. The project will see a section of Highway 16 reduced to 1 lane in each direction while rehabilitation work is completed. The intersection of Highway 16 and 62nd Avenue will close during construction to allow for the replacement of water and sanitary mains and the installation of concrete pads.
Once it's done, I hope that intersection will not be touched for 20 plus to 30 years. That concrete intersection will be there. The new pavement will be down, the stabilization work that needs to be done.
The city is asking residents to remain patient and follow all posted signs and detours. Mayor Gerald Albers says while the project may cause some headaches for motorists, this work needs to be done as the road has deteriorated from heavy traffic and frost.
I ask motorists and the commuting public to be patient, follow the road restrictions and detours that'll be there. Certainly, please continue to support the businesses along that piece of road. You may just have to take 4 more minutes to get to that favorite spot.
Heavy and oversized loads should use alternative routes to navigate around the city. While the project is expected to take 6 months to complete, good weather could help speed up the work.
Right now, we've experienced a lack of moisture. I hope we don't experience that lack of moisture for the farmers, but at the same token, boy, if you get 25, 30 days of dry conditions in road construction, that's an incredible experience. You move along fairly fast.
A full list of 2021 infrastructure projects, including detour and traffic accommodation plans, can be found at lloydminster.ca/engineering. For Primetime Local News, I'm Jace Mackey.
Lakeland College's Human Services program are offering a unique way to engage with their students through social media with the chance to win a big incentive. Connor Chan has more.
With COVID-19 shutting down in-person gatherings at Lakeland College, the Human Services program created the Make a Difference contest, which not only is a way for students and staff introductions to the college and program, but entrants need to do their submissions on the one app everyone seems to have right now, TikTok.
We really thought this is where our students are living right now. So hopefully it's not only a way for us to get to know the students, it's a way for students to get to know one another before they arrive. And we thought about how could we make it relevant for Lakeland and our Human Services Department in particular. So the Making a Difference being our philosophy and model within our department sounded like it could be a great fit.
The videos need to include students from the Human Services programs showing how they're making a difference in their community, school, or family, whether it's planting flowers, picking up trash, or even just simple everyday gestures.
We actually had one entry where a student commented that they're giving each and every person that passes them by a smile. And you know what? That can make a difference to someone.
And with the grand prize being the fall semester's tuition paid for, Aki says that with a prize like that, she hopes this sparks a wave of video entries.
Every student's going to have to pay a tuition fee. So it kind of levels the playing field, gives everyone the same opportunity. And we hope it's enough of an incentive that will get multiple entries.
The deadline to submit videos is May 18th and must include the hashtag #LCHumanServicesMakeADifference. Connor Chan, Primetime Local News.
Now our Connor Chan will take a first look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. We did have a very warm day, lots of sun and clouds throughout the day. Looking right now at 21 degrees as we are going to see those 20-degree temperatures continuing on over the next couple of days here. Looking at the winds there are kind of mild to little to not as heavy as we saw before. So coming in right now at 12 kilometers an hour from the south and southwest. There is still the possibility we could see some showers throughout the week as well. I know I did talk about some rain potentially tonight, but there's still only a 30% chance that we could see some showers. There is still a low pressure system, not as heavy in the Saskatchewan area. So there is a chance we could see some cloud coverage more so than anything. But 21 degrees though in the Vermilion, Marwayne areas as well. 17 in St. Paul with 19 in Cold Lake and Pierceland and Edmonton. 20 degrees in Macklin, and looking over to Saskatchewan right now, 21 degrees in North Battleford with 22 in Maidstone, as well as 22 degrees in Green Lake. Taking a look to the satellite radar map, a little bit of activity though further eastbound in the showers category there. North Battleford are going to have the chance to see some of that rain tonight, and mostly we see a lot of activity more so down south still in the Medicine Hat, Calgary areas, and areas north of Calgary also seeing some rain as well. Taking a look at temperatures overnight in North Battleford, 4 degrees, and there could be some showers tomorrow with that high of 22 degrees. Excuse me, there's I lost my train of thought there for a second. Winds coming in from the northwest north at 13 kilometers an hour, so winds are going to be fairly mild throughout most of the region. 4 degrees overnight in Cold Lake with a few clouds, going into 20 degrees tomorrow for the daytime high with some expected rain. And then looking for us here overnight, 6 degrees for us here in Lloydminster, and we'll see a little bit of cloud coverage throughout the day with a little bit of sun with that high of 21 degrees. Looking ahead to the next couple of days, we are expecting some rain for Saturday though, as we have been talking about that of course over the last couple of days. So the weekend is when we're going to start to see some showers for ourselves. 24 degrees on Sunday though, where we will continue to be in those 20s, and there's a chance we could see some 30-degree temperatures going into next week. That is a look at your weather for now. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
Welcome back. Buffalo Trails Public Schools is announcing the release of their newest project, Learning on the Trail podcast. Our Shelby Clark spoke with the superintendent for more on how they hope this will inspire students.
I'm joined here today for Primetime Local News with Rayanne Holion, the superintendent with the Buffalo Trail Public School Division. Thanks so much for joining us today. Now, you're all releasing a new podcast called Learning on the Trail. Can you tell me more about this?
We are releasing a new podcast, and we're so excited, Shelby, to share about this. We have such great opportunities in our school division for our students, and we wanted them to become more aware of different opportunities outside of grade 12. So we interview a variety of occupations, careers, people who have passion and knowledge about their field of study, and we share with students how to pursue that or what it would particularly look like.
And what was the inspiration that made BTPS come out with this podcast?
Oh, great question. And I will credit Michelle Webb, our deputy superintendent. We did some series of interviews for our Women in Leadership event that we had. And we thought we would take that to the next step and be able to share careers then with our students.
And what is the exact goal that you're hoping to achieve with having people come on this podcast and talk about their careers?
Yeah, so our goal, we're trying to have almost that career fair on your phone. So this enables students at any time to look at a variety of careers, get information, learn about the risks, the challenges, where to go. Our podcast notes have additional information. So if somebody could be potentially interested, they could look at something specific, or they could listen to them all and get some ideas about different careers and opportunities out there.
And how was the planning process to get the podcast started and be able to get guests on it?
Oh, well, thanks for asking that, because this is not a lone venture. I have a great team. Linda Koski and Bree Blackie absolutely helped me out. And Linda did fantastic research on how we need to record it and how we need to put it on Anchor and then get it out to Spotify and our Apple and Google and all of that research. And then who would students be interested in? And we have a number of people who are BTPS graduates or BTPS employees, as well as other people from outside. You yourself have been on our podcast. You're the news reporter that we know. And so it's just ideas of who students might be interested in. And now that we've done a few, we get recommendations from people within our division of who would be great to reach out to.
Yes. Along with the episode that I was on with you, how many total episodes are on this podcast right now?
So right now we have 7 if you go to Apple or Spotify or Google, but we have 3 more in the works that are just waiting to be released as well. So we have you, the news reporter, we have our custodian supervisor, we have a computer tech, we have a graduate of Lakeland College, a agrologist who's on our podcast, a volunteer firefighter, one of our very own principals. Shared that with us. We have a research associate, so someone from Wainwright grew up here who has gone on to do amazing things. So there's so many, the list will be endless.
And what other careers is BTPS hoping to showcase on the podcast right now?
Yeah, well, coming up, we have a mayor of Vermilion who will be released. We have a chief administrator officer from one of our villages who's on there, and a local computer tech who works for Buffalo Trail Public Schools as well. We're also hoping to set up, we have some information out for a keynote speaker, one of the youngest keynote speakers who talks about resilience in students. And yeah, so we're just going crazy trying to get a few of those podcasts out.
And for people interested, where can they access it and how can they reach out to be on it if they'd like?
Great. So we have a very simple email, podcast@btps.ca. So you can just email us there and we can absolutely set you up. And if anybody wants to listen, you can access it through our website, which is easy to find, Buffalo Trail Public Schools, BTPS, or Spotify, it's at BTPS28, Apple Podcasts, or Google.
Perfect. And is there anything else you'd like to add for people to know about?
Oh, I just think people will be very interested, even if you're not a student, to listen to some of these, because they're people who are very passionate and knowledgeable about their field of study. And it gives risks and challenges and how people have overcome that to get into these career opportunities. And we talk about people who inspired them along their journey. So it's kind of, it's inspirational as well.
Well, I still believe this podcast is such an amazing idea that you're doing, and I cannot wait to hear all the other episodes that you'll have in the future. Thanks again for joining us today, Rayanne.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Still sitting around that 21-degree mark. We had lots of sun and a few clouds throughout the day, as we are going to see that trend continuing in the high 20s, potentially into the 30s next week. So we are going to see temperatures starting to warm up and also the possibility of some showers. But as we take a look out to west right now, 19 degrees in Athabasca and Edmonton, a little bit cooler in Rocky Mountain House, sitting at 8 degrees. There is lots of cloud coverage through parts of Alberta right now that are receiving some rain right now. 18 in Jasper, moving over to Saskatchewan. 20 degree marks in Saskatoon and Melfort, with 21 in North Battleford and 18 in Prince Albert. Take a look to the north right now. 19 in the Losh and Buffalo Narrows. Those far north temperatures continue to still be mild temperatures at 4 degrees in Uranium City, 6 in Walston Lake, and then 16 in Flin Flon. Looking to northern Alberta, 18 degrees in Peace River, with 18 also we see in Fort McMurray, 14 in Slave Lake, and then 16 degrees for High Level. Taking a look to southern Alberta right now, 18 in Lethbridge, with 19 in Medicine Hat that could see also some showers and lots of cloud coverage continuing on in these areas, specifically in Alberta throughout right now. 14 in Calgary, 13 in Banff, and looking over to southern Saskatchewan, we also see those 20-degree marks also carrying over as well. 21s in Moose Jaw, Regina, and Estevan, and then nice 22 degrees in Yorkton. Now taking a look at temperatures across the country, a little bit more cloud coverage today than yesterday for some. 18 degrees in Quebec City with some rain, 19 in Toronto, 8 in St. John's right now, and then 16 degrees right now in Halifax. A little bit clearer skies in Vancouver, looking at 17 degrees, 1 degree up in Yellowknife right now, and then 10 degrees in Whitehorse. Edmonton also seeing a little bit of rain as well. Not a whole lot. There is still that 40% chance that they're seeing some of those showers, but a little bit of on and off rain is what we are seeing in the Edmonton capital there for most of the day. Take a look to temperatures into tomorrow. We are going to be back into the 20s once again, with 21 degrees in Lloydminster, Vermilion, Marwayne, and Vegreville, 20 degrees in St. Paul, and also up in Bonnyville and Cold Lake. Edmonton will also see 20 degrees for tomorrow as well. Going into parts in Saskatchewan, 22 degrees. We'll see that number in Macklin, North Battleford. We'll see also some 20s continuing on once again in St. Walburg, Meadow Lake, and Green Lake as well. And then 15 degrees up in Isle La Crosse. Now here's a look at what we could see over the next couple of days. We could start to see some showers by the weekend on Saturday, carrying over from potentially Friday evening, late Friday night, carrying over into Saturday. 24 degrees on the Sunday with that high there, and then a little bit more cloud coverage, and we are going to get a little bit clearer throughout the week as well. There is still the possibility, though, that we could see some 30-degree marks creep in here and there throughout next week. So 25 degrees on Monday with 20 degrees on Tuesday with clear skies. Going into Wednesday, 24 degrees is the high there, so we'll continue that warm trend for a little bit. Then we taper off a little bit on Thursday with that high of 17 degrees, but we are still above seasonal averages for the month of May, where we usually average around 17 as our daytime high and 4 as our daytime low right now. So we're doing very well in the lows as well. That is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
I'm joined here now with Canadian author Christy Cherish. Now, for our viewers who may not know much about you, could you just give some background into yourself and your work?
Back in about 2012, 2013, I finished my PhD in cell biology and genetics. And I realized that my career was going to be doing research in a lab and writing reports and managing other students. And I after about 15 years, I realized that's not exactly the direction I wanted to go. I really loved being in a lab. And I started thinking to myself, well, I'm going to graduate soon. What is the one job out there? If I'm playing fantasy job, what's the one job out there that wouldn't feel like work? It would just be my dream job. And I loved reading. I loved science fiction. I loved fantasy. I'd be reading it up on the bus up to UBC while I had my, my microscope going. And I thought to myself, well, what if I tried writing? And so I started writing while I was writing up my thesis. So I'd give myself an hour of fun writing and an hour of my thesis, and rapidly that turned into 2 to 3 hours of fun writing, an hour of my thesis. And by the time I was ready to defend my PhD, I had my thesis done, but I also had my first science fiction novel, Owl in the Japanese Circus. And as a bit of a lark, I thought, well, what's the next step once you have a novel? Let's just have fun and see if I can get it published. And I ended up, sending it out to an agent, and she was interested. And the next thing I knew, I had a publishing deal with Simon & Schuster. And I've never really looked back.
And with your Owl series, obviously you've released it over the course of the past few years, but as you mentioned, it is one of your first books. So could you just give some background into it for readers who may be interested?
Yeah, absolutely. Owl in the Japanese Circus is about a reluctant Indiana Jane style character who has one rule: no supernatural jobs. She's an archaeology grad student turned antiquities thief. And lo and behold, in the novel, she of course gets wrapped up in the supernatural world, and a dragon insists that she find something that's gone missing thousands of years ago, and she really doesn't have a choice but to do it. So it's an adventure fantasy.
In 2020, you released the third installment of the Kincaid Strange series titled Voodoo Shanghai. So where did the inspiration come from for this series?
So Kincaid Strange is a voodoo practitioner who lives in Seattle with the ghost of a grunge rocker. And I started, it's a mystery, murder mystery series with ghosts and zombies and all sorts of supernatural, sort of ghostly creatures. that series was, I grew up in the 90s. So I was sort of there during that, sort of during the grunge music. I was in my early teens. And so I always wanted to do something with just that. I always wanted to write a novel with that kind of grunge feel, and what it kind of, some of that atmosphere of what it felt like to be a teen in the 90s. So there's a lot of that in there. But it also was heavily inspired by trips I had a chance to take down to Seattle and Portland, where I got to see the underground cities. So there are these warrens of old Seattle and old Portland, which of course burned down in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And there's all of this history to sort of this old West vibe from the late 1800s. And the history is just so rich and really stranger than fiction that I really wanted to wrap that into a novel.
And like you said, with the history that you're kind of working with, this kind of helps you delve more into the writing and really bring it to life for readers.
Yeah, I tried. A lot of the ghosts that are that populate Kincaid Strange are from. So in the series, the Seattle Underground is this. Of course, I embellish it quite a bit, but it's this pseudo supernatural place where all the zombies and ghosts hang out, and some of the practitioners who talk to the dead, and populating that city was a lot of fun. One of my favorite characters to write is Lee Lang, who is the zombie with the mostest who runs the underground city and a bar called Damaged Goods. And I base her off of a kind of courtesan who lived in Seattle in the late 1800s. And ran these boarding houses and such. And so there really is so much history to draw on that it's kind of an author's dream.
That's awesome. And if anyone is interested in your work, where is the best place to go?
I always like to tell people to go to the library first, because my books are in the library, and it's always great to support your local librarians, and but Chapters, Amazon, all the local places that you would find books is where I am.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Christy.
Thanks for having me, Jasmine.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. There is still a slight chance we could get some showers, around 30% for tonight, but for tomorrow, 21 degrees is what we are going to see. We could see that mix of sun and clouds, also a little bit of chance of some showers as well. Saturday is when we could start to see some rain with that high of 22 degrees, 24 on Sunday, 25 for Monday, clear skies on Tuesdays. We still continue to be in those 20-degree temperatures, 24 for Wednesday, and then we wrap up the 7 days with 17 degrees on Thursday.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great rest of your night.